You're listening to a show on the Planet Film podcast feed. Hey, welcome everybody. So, as you can see, finally I am moved in. I got the new setup all done. For those of you who are long-term or even short-term listeners, we've been off for just 2 episodes of the main show, just because I was moving in the last 2 weeks and getting everything set up. Also, the whole thing, my internet took like 5 or 6 days to actually get installed. It was a whole mess. But we are here now, and we are ready to go for the show. Once again, my name is Sean Monk. And this is the Planet Film Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. So, let's go ahead and get right into it. As we said, he is TJ Cornwell. I am Sean Monk. If you're just jumping onto the show for the first time with this episode, we like to, just keep it light. Like most podcasts, I think we have a little bit of just conversation in the meantime, especially now because it's been like 2 weeks. Obviously, me and TJ have talked in that time. We just have not done a little podcast catch up. So, right before the show, I know TJ was just telling me about some of his haircut troubles. I'll just give my story real quick, because as you can see, I have gotten a haircut. Basically, so if anybody has ever been to Great Clips before, you will know that they print out a little receipt that like remembers what your haircut is, basically. So basically, long story short, I went and got my haircut, and I saw the receipt. I read all the stuff, but the hairdresser did not. So I ended up like literally with half the length that I usually do. As you can see, it's all sticking up as opposed to over. And then the hard part, she just didn't do it. And I was like, and then it was just one of those things where all of a sudden she was taking the little cape off me and just said, "Good?" And I was like, sure. Yeah, exactly. So I literally just said, I was just like, sure. Yep, it's great. Thanks. Oh, really? Let's see here. No, we are on YouTube. We are on YouTube, but you are muted. That is correct. Okay, 1 second, guys. It's just my audio. Gotta get it set up. That would be why. All right, guys. We appreciate your patience. Output. There we go. Talk again.
Hello? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Oh. Hang on. Okay. So now the stream can hear you, but I cannot.
Oh, there you
so
go.
1 second.
Oh, great. Gotta love that.
All right. Talk again?
Yeah. Hello?
All right. Cool.
Good.
We got it set now. Yeah,
All
so basically, my Discord was set to come through my headphones instead of through the software that we use. That's why that was happening.
But
okay.
Building on what you said, that is like, my like friend just became like a barber, and the reason I like going to Great Clips is literally just because that they remember what I got, because I don't know, 3, 2, 1, 5, like I don't know. So they know, I think I have it down pat now. Actually, I think it's like I get like a 3 on the side, and then they say, "Oh, you just want to trim off the top?" I go, "Yeah, sure." So that's what they do. Well, this time I went, and as you know, as you stated, it's also a different person every time. So maybe you're lucky you get the same person multiple times. That's happened to me a few times. I'm also not one for small talk. I hate that. So. I almost always say, like, I will tip you more money if you don't talk to me.
Do you say that to them? Do you
no, I don't say that.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I don't.
I
want
philosophy?
to, but I would never say that. And so when I was getting my haircut, she was like, "Oh, do you want me to like trim your sideburns?" I was like, "Sure." Uh, I was like, and so I thought she meant like she would like make them the same length as like the side of my head.
Hmm.
But she actually brought them up to my mid ear. So this time I was actually growing my facial hair back from when I had the mustache about like 2 weeks ago. And so I had to shave my face again. So that kind of sucked. And then she just missed some spots. I had to have Danielle like shave
Touch it up.
off, like basically like on the top of my ears. And
Hmm.
she also like did this thing where like I don't know if you could see it, but like it looks like she trimmed above my ear
Oh
too
yeah, I do
high.
see that.
And Danielle was like, "Oh, well, it looks like she trimmed around your mask." And I was like, "Well, I took I took the part off."
Yeah, they made me like
So she
hold it up to my face, like
yeah,
take
I
the
was like,
loops
so she
off.
wasn't trimming around it. I was like, she literally just like messed up. So I think that was the last time I go there ever.
Yeah,
Like I think I'm gonna start going to my friend now.
yeah.
But
Oh my lord.
other than that, the other thing I did this week or the past 2 weeks is this. I told you this that I spent a lot of money.
Hmm.
So Danielle, actually protect your ears on this one. So actually, did I tell you how much both consoles total up to?
No, how much?
Yeah, so the PS5 launched 2 weeks ago, and I snagged one of those, I think, on the second day of pre-orders. And I got Xbox Series X. It's probably about $1,000.
Oh my lord. With everything totaled up?
Yeah, most likely. I haven't looked at my credit card. I'm pretty sure I know like what the total is because
Hmm.
they were both around like $500.
Yeah.
Plus tax is probably like 1,000 like 50 or 60 whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, I gotta start paying that off. And
Danielle said,
yeah.
"What?"
Oh, is that what she? Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't mention how much they were.
Oh my lord. Oh boy.
I could
Oh
always
man.
cancel it. I could always cancel it. It's not too late.
Which one would you
Is she in
cancel
the
though?
chat?
Yeah, which one would you
I
cancel
would
though?
cancel the Xbox because I'm not gonna
Hmm.
stream it.
Oh my lord.
I did almost when I had the S originally. I was gonna like either text you or Brandon and be like, "Hey, if either of you guys want this, like, I'll sell it to you for like $50 more." But then I was like, "Yeah." But yeah.
She said that is a lot of money for two consoles that will be played once. Oh my lord. Yeah, you
I
gotta
probably
get.
should have
Well,
gotten the RTX 3080.
yeah, exactly. It would have been half the. It would have been less than the price of one of the freaking consoles. Oh yeah, yeah. All right.
No, those things are like $1,500.
Wait, which number did you say?
I said 3080, not 2080. Like the newest one they just launched.
Yeah, the 3080 is like $429.
Oh, I thought one of them was like
Oh no, never mind. Sorry.
$1,500.
The 3070. Is it 3070 or
Oh,
3060?
yeah, it might be.
3070. The 3070 is 429, and then or maybe 499 or something. I don't know, but the 3090 Ti, the highest end one, that's the one that's
Oh,
still
that
over a
one.
grand. Yeah, but they
Yeah.
dropped the prices on the other ones like
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we're gonna be trying to kind of trek through the show today a little bit quicker than usual, just because for those that don't know, there is the presidential debate. We don't want to be competing with the airtime, So once we're done with that, if you can stomach it, go ahead and flip over to them once we are done. But hopefully we could get you get you in a little bit of a better mood than having to think about politics all the time. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about up top, or are we good to go ahead and jump right into the show?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Good to go.
Oh,
Shout out to Bills, by the way. My bad.
Oh, shout out to Bill. Yeah, man. Fantastic.
Gave me a heart attack on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was a little, but some bad plays, some bad calls.
Yeah.
We'll chalk it up. A win is a win. I don't know who it was last season, or I don't know. I don't think it was Allen, but one of the players last season was like, they were like, yes, you're winning, but you're winning so close every single time, and they
Yeah.
were just like, "Listen, a win is a win. I am not thinking like
Yeah.
that." And then they just
Yeah.
walked away, and I was like,
Yeah. Past two
basically,
weeks though. Past 2 weeks, third quarter, they just like gone to sleep. Like,
yeah. Well,
like
that's kind of the same thing that was last year.
yeah.
Well, tune in for Planet Sports coming to you Monday nights. No, maybe one day. Who knows? Who knows? We'll get John Roca in here, a little Matt Nost action. Actually, we'll have Matt Nost return to the podcast because for those who don't know, I think our second episode, yeah, our second
First.
or first episode, we had the mighty Matt Nost, famed member of the Comedy Store, was on the podcast. Crazy. Man, if only we could recapture that fame for every episode since. But we'll get there. All right. I'm sorry. All right. We have fun here. Welcome to Planet Film. Okay. So now we are just going to go ahead and roll right into our top segment every single week, which is new news. So this is basically where TJ and myself will kind of break down what happened in the world of movie news. Now, for those who don't know, we do have another kind of sister show on the Planet Film brand, on the same YouTube channel, on all the same feeds, called Planet Hero. That's where myself and my friend Donald Beasley, we break down the whole world of comic book movie news, comic book, TV news, just comic books in general. Basically anything comic book centric. Hello, I can speak. All right, welcome back. But I do have to give a little bit of disclaimer on the news today. So much comic book movie and comic book TV news dropped in these last 2 weeks. We have to talk about some stuff. We have a bunch of comic book movie news to talk about. It is nowhere near all of it, so tune in to Planet Hero because there will be even more. And TJ's on there sometimes too. He hopped in for half the show a couple weeks back. But we're going to go ahead and do a full deep dive into these same stories as well as a whole bunch of others because seriously, I think we have about 5 comic book related stories today. We could have had 10. Like, there was so many that I dropped out of the notes that I'm saving for Planet Hero. But just wanted to make that little disclaimer because as much as Martin Scorsese wouldn't want it, it's 70% of what the movie news landscape is nowadays. So we'll just go ahead and hop right in with the first story, which I'm pulling up here, which is, as you can see on screen here, Samuel L. Jackson is set to reprise his role as Nick Fury in a new show for Disney Plus. So this is not just Sam Jackson coming back to be in a show. This would be a Sam Jackson led show. So this would be his show, Nick Fury at the helm. Kind of think maybe, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but with Fury as the lead instead of Coulson. So what, like we said, we're going to try and trek through these stories quickly today.
Yeah.
What are just some of your first thoughts? What is maybe one thing? Let's go with one kind of story element and maybe one MCU character that you think or would want to show up in this show.
I think it'd be cool. I mean, honestly, when do you think this will take? I think it'll take place like after what was it after Endgame when he's on like the ship? Or is that
that was Far From Home. Yeah, that was in Far
Far
From
From Home.
Mhm.
I think that's when it'll take maybe like during that like time.
Yeah.
Who will show up? I think it'd be cool if like Captain Marvel showed up. I'm assuming this is going to be limited series. I don't think they'll do like multiple seasons of this.
Mhm.
I also think it'd be cool if they gave him like one motherfucker an episode. That'd be pretty dope. Maybe go, TV mature rating in there, TV 14.
So you can,
with the swears,
as we know from Hamilton, fans of
Oh,
Hamilton will know. Lin-Manuel Miranda said that Disney Plus allowed them 3 F-bombs.
Yeah.
That's for a movie. So if you're thinking 1 F-bomb per episode, that's not even as bad. I would say that's not even as bad. So maybe they'll finally let him say it. I don't know. Although they never really let him say it in the movies. So I figured if they don't let him say it in the movies, but who knows? Who knows? It all just depends on what the vibe and the tone of the show is going to be. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see if they straight up.
I could see it going more
Let him do
political,
that.
because he's not like a superhero or anything.
Interesting.
Like he's the director. right?
Mhm. So, do you think? So, let me ask you this. So, do you think the
Hmm.
show is going to be more in the vein of a Winter Soldier type show, or more in the vein of what we saw at the end of Far From Home, where you think maybe this is going to be kind of going intergalactic, or do you think it's going to be a grounded story?
I think it'll be probably a mixture of the intergalactic and just like grounded, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because I feel like, I mean, it's really weird that we haven't had like a movie in a really long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like that must have been like what they were trying to set up, right? And at the end of Far From Home, I mean, granted, he's probably in like probably shows up in like another movie or something, that whole ending sequence. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was leading into this show.
Yeah, I would say I think what I would want to see of this show would be, man, it's so hard to say. Okay, so if you're going that this show is also I have to say right now Hawkeye, She-Hulk, which we'll get to in a minute. Um
Hmm.
what's the other? Moon Knight and Miss Marvel are all currently slated for Disney Plus releases in 2022. You have the long rumored, a War Machine show. You start getting season twos of some of these shows, and now we have this Nick Fury show. I don't
Yeah.
think this is going to come out until probably 2023, 2024 even. I'd say probably 2023. Um, so I'm just thinking in my own head, I'm just like, I think what we saw at the end of Far From Home is probably going to be already picked up on
Yeah.
in a movie, if not many movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't think this show is going to be the first time we're going to see Nick Fury again. I think Nick Fury is going to be in probably Eternals, probably
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think he's definitely going to be in.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be in WandaVision only because there's already so many kind of side characters. You have Jimmy Woo, Randall Park's FBI character coming back from Ant-Man.
Okay.
You got Darcy Lewis coming back from the Thor, Kat
Yeah.
Dennings from the Thor movies.
Yeah.
I think there's already so many side characters in WandaVision. I don't think we'll
Yeah.
see him this year again.
I mean, if there's a part for him, I'm sure he'll do it because I feel like he just likes doing it. Like I'm sure he loves playing that. He maybe not
I
loves, or maybe he does. I don't know, but maybe he just like likes playing the character. That he's like, oh, you got a part for me? Sure, I'll be in that.
Mhm. This is what I think. I think like many of these actors. Gosh, this is bothering me so much. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just like so low in the shot. I got to work on the framing for the next. Now I'm way above you. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and talk through it. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, I think I nailed it. Okay, I'm sorry. That was really bothering me. I think like most of these actors that sign on for these long roles, I think there's always the build up where you're like, oh, this is so cool, this is so cool, this is so cool, and then like right around Age of Ultron, he was like, all right, I'll do a few episodes of Agents of Shield,
Yeah.
but I kind of want a little bit of a break. And he did. He took like a 2.5, 3 year break from the character, and then boom, 3 movies in 1 year, and now boom, he's gonna be in all these other things. He re-upped his
Yeah.
contract. He's getting his own show. I think it's just something where these actors need a break, and I think he knows that he's not Tony Stark. He's not a character that has to have this big dramatic death and then fall off the face of
Hmm.
the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think he knows he can play this character, commit to a couple weeks of filming for every single project. Obviously, this is probably going to be the most commitment he's ever done to this character because
Yeah.
it's his own show, but it remains to be seen. But I think he knows like I can still do my hitman's bodyguard's wife's niece, nephews. I don't know what the hell they're doing with those. Like all the different, he can still work with Tarantino whenever he wants.
Hmm.
Like it's a minimal commitment character, and it has such a big impact on the audience. And I think he sees that. And also we got to talk about the money. This guy's been playing this character for when by the time this show rolls around 15 plus years, he's got
Yeah.
to be making buco bucks playing this guy. So and you got to think Endgame, he probably showed up for a day and a half. You know what I mean? Like that was it.
Oh yeah.
So he probably loves playing this guy. But yeah, in terms of what I asked you, for mine, I would, to me, yep, I see right here. My mom put in the chat, Skrulls. yes, I would love to see Talos in this show. But I'm gonna just to kind of cheat on my own rule for a second. I'm gonna consider Talos showing up the story thing that I want because
Yeah.
character. I think you got to bring in Coulson. I think this is how you bring Coulson back into the main
Oh yeah.
fold because I know we've talked about this. TJ has seen like not a lot of Agents of Shield. He hasn't seen the
I
whole
haven't
show or
seen any of
anything.
it.
Oh yeah, so he hasn't seen any of it, but I know he hasn't seen the whole show or anything like that. But um, not really a spoiler, but just where Coulson ends up, I think
Hmm.
it's one of those things where Coulson could just show right back up in a movie or a Disney Plus show, and the MCU is so big and expansive now, people would just be like, "Oh yeah, he died, but he's back." Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's all you would have to like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where Coulson ends up is very similar to where Coulson was in Avengers, basically.
Mhm.
So I could very easily see him slipping right into this. But in terms of story, I would love to see Talos come back, get Ben Mendelsohn in there, just for the wacky zaniness. And I think those two characters are just so funny when they're on screen together. Like, um, all right, maybe we'll get to see him turn into a filing cabinet. Um, all right. So, next story here, which is kind of going to be a combo, two things, which is we are, unlike what people were originally thinking, we are actually looking more towards a Thanksgiving release date for WandaVision than a Christmas release date. A lot of people thought that this show and the MCU shows in general would not overlap with the Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. So clearly, if this is coming out, if we're getting reports now that WandaVision is releasing in Thanksgiving, that would clearly not be the case. Which I think is cool because there's going to be so many shows on Disney Plus. If you set these rules that they can't overlap, it's going to be such a headache. It's going to be
Yeah.
such a headache to try and schedule all that when you're talking multiple animated Star Wars shows still coming, multiple live action Star Wars shows still coming, plus you're talking 3 or 4 MCU shows a year. It would be impossible to schedule all of that around each other. So what are your thoughts on this? And also, because we were off when it went up, do you want to just talk quickly about your thoughts on the WandaVision
On
trailer that we
the
got?
trailer, yeah.
Yes.
I think I've only watched it like once or twice. I liked it. I liked the way it looked. I like the whole like sitcom type vibe that it's giving.
Mhm.
Like it makes me think of like I don't know why, but like I Love Lucy or like Full House or something like that, where it's like that like studio audience laugh track, like stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then obviously it's probably going to lead into Doctor Strange's movie, which
Mhm.
I don't know when that comes out. What is that scheduled for? Like 2022?
Yeah, I know it got pushed
So,
in
it
the
has been pushed,
rotation.
okay.
It got no,
Okay.
the date got pushed when all the dates got pushed, but I mean
Mhm.
one of the movies jumped in line ahead of it.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one though. But yeah, it's I think currently it's slated for May 2022.
Mhm.
But I I I don't know how they're gonna pull that one
Yeah.
off.
Um,
So it might
I
move.
I'm excited to see it. I'm just this. I think this will set the tone on what the shows are gonna be like and the production value and
Yeah.
if hopefully it's good. Like I hope it
Mhm.
doesn't like suck and then that's because that'll just put a sour taste in everybody's mouth for like the next one that comes out.
Mhm.
And they're already committing to like however many of these types of shows, like 4.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're gonna go back and go, well, we need to rewrite this entire thing. It's like, well, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give my thoughts quickly. I know you said you've watched maybe we said did you say once or twice or like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, probably once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've probably watched
I watch this trailer almost every day. I loved this trailer. I'm obsessed
Yeah.
with the music, the tone, like you said, but you get the classic like Dick Van Dyke laugh track in there.
it. Yeah.
The mom from That 70s Show, which like was not in any of the casting. I'm sure she's not playing a big role. Although,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, my brain just like exploded.
Brainstorm.
What if the two of the I feel like Jimmy Neutron. what if those two people, the mom from that 70 show and the other
Hmm.
actor who's been a character actor in a million things, I'm forgetting his name. Um, this just total random right now. So this whole show, right, is supposed to be in Wanda's consciousness, right?
Like, yeah.
What if we've never met their parents? We heard about them a ton in Age of Ultron. What if those
Oh
two
yeah.
actors are also playing?
Randall Park. Is that what you're talking about?
No. It's like the I
Oh.
forget his name. It's
Oh.
like the bigger guy with the beard. But what if those two characters are Wanda and Pietro's mom and dad? You know what I mean? Because we heard
Yeah.
about that they got killed before that. That would be really really cool. Sorry, my brain just like went. I was thinking. I was like, so who are those people? Because obviously you have Catherine Hahn, who is probably
Yeah.
playing the big bad of this show. You'd have to guess.
Hmm.
Which shout out to her. I mean, coming from an SNL actress in like comedies, and then you nail this
Yeah.
huge role in an MCU project. Shout out to Catherine Hahn, who looked fantastic in the trailer. That scene with her
Hmm.
and Vision was the best part of it to me.
Yeah.
When he lands at her car and he wakes her up and she goes, "Am I dead?" And you just see the performance by Paul Bettany and he's just like, "No.
No.
Why would
yeah.
you think that?" And she goes, "Because you are." And he's like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god, I just can't wait for the show. I'm just so excited."
Yeah. Deborah Joe is casted as Miss Hart, so I don't know if that means anything, but it
Interesting.
says she's in one episode though.
Okay.
So, I don't
So
know.
maybe not, but that either way, that would just be that just like my mind just went off on that because I was like, if this
Mhm.
is supposed to be in her mind, you would think it's only people that she's known in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll see. But my main thing, just to close off the WandaVision talk, I am just so in love with Paul Bettany as the Vision. If anybody has not seen Manhunt, the Unabomber show that came out a couple years back with Paul Bettany in it, go see that. Also, A Knight's Tale, if you want two very different Paul Bettany performances with him as the Unabomber and then him in A Knight's Tale, but both are fantastic. But I love his portrayal of Vision in these movies, and
Yeah.
he was one that I was so viscerally upset when Thanos killed him because he wasn't snapped away; he killed him, and I was
Spoiler.
like, spoiler for Avengers: Infinity War. I'm sorry. But
He doesn't have that many credits. He's only has 49 credits.
Paul
That
Bettany.
would be more. Yeah.
Well, he's another one that he talked about that Ron Howard was actually kind of somebody who brought him back into acting because
Oh, okay.
he was one of those people that like he almost quit acting like 5 or 6 times because he was like
Oh.
he would get these big surges like it
Mhm.
was one of those Vanity Fair or GQ things where it was like Paul Bettany breaks down his career, one of those things.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking. I'm sorry, Danielle. I didn't mean to spoil it. Um, it was one of those things where like after A Knight's Tale, he got the Da Vinci Code, and then it kind of petered out. And then he got
Yeah.
Jarvis, and then that was happening, and then it kind of petered out, and then he got Vision, and it's been pretty okay since then.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was kind of like he did Wimbledon in 04, and then his next movie was Firewall in 06, and then Da Vinci Code in 06, and then Iron Man in 08.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like a 2-year gap.
Yeah, like right around there. It's like, and then he said
Yeah.
he credits Ron Howard a lot in that video because then he says, too, he was like, when I found out that when I read the Infinity War script, he said I thought I was done as Vision. He was like, I thought it was over, and then I got the call from Ron Howard to do Solo and play Dryden Voss, and he was like, again, Ron Howard revitalizing my career, putting me in Star Wars, and he was like,
Yeah.
it's just so interesting. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. She's fantastic, but I just really love Paul Bettany as Vision. And
Yeah.
I'm if this show means that we get more of him and hopefully past this show as well, hopefully he can just come back to life somehow. I'm all game for that. So I really hope that's the case. All right. So this is going to be our last bit of Disney Plus MCU news here, which is also in the weeks that we were off. We got official casting for our She-Hulk. So we officially know who is going to be bringing Jennifer Walters to life on the small screen and then, of course, the big screen after that. because Feige has said all these characters on these shows will also go to the movies, which is a great break for this person and a great break for honestly Hollywood, because Hollywood needs to give this woman more work, and that is Tatiana Maslany, as you can see on screen there, has officially been cast as Jennifer Walters in the She-Hulk show. So now I don't know. Have you seen Orphan Black? Did you ever watch that show?
I think. Oh, this was 2013. Okay, I could have sworn there was like a show called Orphan. Was this on like BBC?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember seeing ads for this when I was still watching Doctor Who like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I could be mistaken.
The show
but
ran
no,
from like 2013 to 2018.
Yeah, the only movie I've seen, I've seen Stronger.
Okay. Oh yeah. If you don't, yes, Danielle has seen Orphan Black. Yes, absolutely. Clone Club all the way. I actually have. Do I have any of them right out? No, I don't. I have all of my, because I recently. You guys can't see, it pains me that it's off camera, but my whole Funko collection is now on these shelves down here, and I dedicated a whole little block of them to. I have all the sisters of the Funko Pops. Danielle will know what I'm talking about, or anybody that watched Orphan Black will know what I'm talking about. And I have the one of, this might be a deep cut, Danielle. Let's see if you know it. I have the one of Rachel with the pencil. See if you know what I mean with that. But she is fantastic, and yes, I'm so glad you brought up Stronger. She is so good in that. She is going toe to toe with Jake Gyllenhaal, who was on the freaking acting streak of his life, just going Oscar performance after Oscar performance, and she stood so toe to toe with him in that movie. The scene where he is trying to get from the car to the door, the both of them in that. Oh my God! If you want to see her dramatic chops as an actor, go watch Stronger. I'm sure it's on Netflix or something, or Hulu or something like that. But I am just so excited. And then, of course, also fans of Orphan Black will know she has great comedic timing. She has great physicality as a performer, with some of the different characters that she played on Orphan Black. I'm just so excited to see this. I really don't think it could have gone to a better person. I know that they were talking about like Alison Brie for it, and I'm like, that's good casting, but like it's kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really see it, but I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with this.
Yeah.
All right. So
again, I'm just real quick. Sorry, I'm just excited. I haven't seen her like again. Like I've only seen her in Stronger.
Yeah.
But by the way people are reacting, I'm like pretty excited because.
Oh yeah.
She must be pretty fucking good actor.
Yeah.
Who? Oh no, she is okay. I didn't know like how much she had been in, but she actually like been in a decent amount of things. So
yeah, because she did like a string around Stronger where she was in a ton of indie movies. She did that one with like, I think it was like her and Meryl Streep and a couple other people, but I can't remember what it was. But she got some buzz for that too. But all right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next story, which also fans of the podcast will know TJ's relationship with the show The Boys, where he had watched some of it, and then for weeks and weeks and weeks and episodes, I've been telling him, you gotta watch the whole thing. Well, in the time that we have been off, he is the Boys cheerleader. He is rah-rah for the show. He finished all of season 1, and he's caught up with season 2's airing right now. And that brings us to our next story here. So let me pull it up here. Is The Boys...
real quick, sorry. What did you what did you think of season or the latest episode? Without spoiling.
Oh,
did you I forgot. I don't think you told me, but
yeah. Here, let me switch back to Two Shot real quick. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was very very funny. All I'll say is Cindy, and I think Shawn Ashmore as Lamplighter is amazing. Yeah. Freaking amazing. Just so good. Also, just the really funny juxtaposition, the fact that he played Bobby or Iceman in the X-Men movies for years, who could produce ice and water out of his hands, is now playing Lamplighter, who is the exact opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is so funny. I just think that's and I'm sure that humor is not lost on set. for the boys. I'm sure they talk about it all the time. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing out of this. Out of if you're just talking this last episode, I think Sean Ashmore as Lamplighter is an amazing addition to the show. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it, but you can tell he is not in this. He is much more going to end up being like Starlight than Homelander.
Homelander, yeah,
we'll say.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really fun to see, and I hope he's in it for many, many seasons to come. Because I just think he was so good. And again, this is just one episode that he was teased a couple episodes back, but he really was finally in it this past episode. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, then our story here is that the popularity of The Boys has never been in question at Amazon. It's been consistently renewed before the previous season even airs. It was renewed for season 2 long before the show even aired. And then it was renewed for season 3 like 5 months ago. And again, with season 3 about to start production, it's now been greenlit for a spin-off show. So the Boys spinoff is officially in the work at Amazon. So this is development for a second show in the superhero franchise has been put on a fast track. So that is what sources are saying, that it has been put on the fast track to production, which I am really excited for if we get to see this thing sooner rather than later. And for those who don't know, all The Boys and most of the Amazon production is in Canada. So they are actually going to be able to get that going into production a lot quicker because it's not an American production right now, because unfortunately we still have a lot of issues going on with the coronavirus. Whereas Canada, they're getting back into the swing of things. So hopefully we're going to be seeing this real soon. Now, this has been talked about as basically Vought University. Basically, it's going to be the Soup College. So think Sky High, but in the Boys universe. So with that pitch,
or
what do you think?
Or this is My Hero Academia, basically mature. So if you watch like any sort of even like kind of like One Punch Man 2, where it's My Hero is more like it's teenagers out of high school with all these weird powers. And you're trying to get noticed by these different companies that have heroes, and there's a standing, and then like you're the number 1 hero, you're the number 3 hero, or you're the number 150th hero. It's all popularity and stuff like that. So I'm actually really excited for this, especially because I know it's going to probably be the same like
tone and style,
like grittiness is just like The Boys is
I
now.
cannot wait.
I'm hoping we even get some like, I'm assuming this would be like a prequel, right? Maybe, or like
I was talking to my mom about that the day that this news broke. We were kind of talking about where because for those who don't know, my mom is also a huge fan of The Boys. We were kind of talking about where we thought this would kind of lie. And I said, going again off of this most recent episode, I think the flashbacks that we get to 8 years ago, I think that's a great place to put it. That way, this show has at least 8 years of runway. And also 8 years back is kind of, not to spoil anything, but in the universe of The Boys, 8 years ago is kind of where the varnish is kind of starting to come off of Vought. Where, people were kind of starting to not be as cool with soups and stuff like that. So I think that would be a really interesting place to put it. Or even maybe put it 1 year before that. So you get like season 1 is like the utopian view of it, where it's like everything's just going great. All these soups are happy. The world loves them. And then season 2, they're like, wait, there's people out there that don't like superheroes? Like,
do you think we get younger versions of these heroes now or at all, or no? Like some of them? Not like obviously all of them.
I think based on so you don't mean like Homelander, you mean like, do I think that like maybe we'll get like Annie younger or something like that?
Sure. I kind of meant Homelander too, but well, I think anybody, I feel like.
I think what this last episode showed is that if you're going like 8 years back, they're not going to do anything. Like all they did for Frenchie was like they gave him more hair. You know what I mean? Like I think I don't think they're going to like de-age or anything.
Oh no!
But I
think this would require. I feel like this would require you to like cast younger versions.
Well, it all depends on how far back you're going. If you're going
Oh,
15,
that's true.
if you're
We
going
don't know that. Yeah,
15 or 20 years back,
yeah.
oh yeah,
Then you,
give
yeah,
me a
yeah,
20-year-old Homelander. Oh my god, like give me like a 20-year-old Homelander
yeah,
who's like, see, students, this is what you need to strive to be, and it's like I
yeah,
would eat that up. That
yeah,
would be so amazing.
yeah.
Um,
Then he
but
gets off camera, is like, "Fuck this."
actually, let me throw out young Homelander, an actor. Um, what's his name? Oh my god, I always mess up his name. Archie. Is it KJ App or AJ Cap?
KJ Appa,
I
KJ
can't
Appa.
remember if it's KJ Appa
It's Appa,
or
I think.
AJ Kappa. Um, but
It's
yeah,
KJ Appa. I don't know which
I
one,
think he
but
would be
yeah,
a really
you're
good young
correct.
Homelander. He's got like the cheekbones and like like the just the
Yeah, I
face.
could. Yeah,
I
yeah,
could see him as a really young Homelander.
yeah.
But I think that would be fantastic. That would be so funny. Um, I think you're right. I think this show. I think you're definitely getting Elizabeth Shue back for this show.
Oh yeah,
I
I
think
would agree with that.
absolutely. I think maybe you even get Giancarlo Esposito again. I
Yeah.
genuinely think.
Who I feel like
Um,
we haven't seen in a while as well.
yeah, it's been a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely going to be one of those things where his part's just going to grow. Also,
Mhm.
you got to think his schedule is very, very
Oh
tight
yeah, yeah. He's
at the
got a lot of
moment.
shit going on.
Yeah. So I'm sure he probably pops in from time to time when he can make it up to Toronto to film. But yeah, I just think either, no matter where you look at it, if you want to say My Hero Academia, if
Yeah.
you want to say Sky High, whatever it is, I just cannot wait for this. This is gonna be so funny. And
Do
I
you think
think
they release them? I would imagine they would wait till The Boys is over, right?
the whole
Right? You
show.
can't. Yeah, like you can't have them going at the same time. I feel
No,
like
I
that.
think you could do them at the same time. That's
Yeah.
why it would be a prequel. That
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
that's
you
true.
don't have to make it, make sense. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you're not like, well, where's Billy? How is this,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's going, you know what I mean?
I can see that.
Um but yeah, I just am excited nonetheless. It's going to be awesome. All right. So we just have a couple more things to get to here, and then we will go into our review for the show. So we're actually gonna. I'm just gonna. If you're looking at the notes, TJ, I'm just gonna move to tweak it around here, and we're gonna go with the Russo
Okay.
brothers story next. So
Okay.
that is that the crime caper film that they have been working on for the past year with Tom Holland, called Cherry, has found its home at last at Apple TV Plus. So they have acquired the rights to the movie, and it will be airing on Apple TV Plus within the next couple of months. Let me see if there is early 2021 debut. So probably
Mhm.
in the next couple of months we're going to be getting that. What are your thoughts on this?
This sucks because I'm guessing it'll only be on Apple, and I don't have Apple, nor do I. Actually, I have it. I
Okay.
think, but I still have like a free subscription from when I bought my MacBook like a while ago. So I think
Oh,
I still
okay.
have
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
year thing. Um, but I was actually like pretty interested in this. I don't know if you watch. I don't think you did. The Devil All the Time came out like a week or two ago. Tom
No, I
Holland
was
was
going to watch it, but I just haven't had time.
Tom Holland was very good in it.
Pattinson?
Really showed his like drama, chops
That's
and
what I've
what he
heard.
can
Yeah,
do.
it's kind of a turn for
Um,
him.
yeah. The movie I liked, but it's kind of
Mhm.
like it's slow.
Mhm.
um,
Also, can I just say, I did not realize that his co-star in this was Sierra Bravo, like the little girl from Big Time Rush.
oh, seriously?
Yeah, is the co-star is his
Oh my
co-star.
god. What else is she even in now?
I don't know.
I didn't even know she still acted.
I mean, good for her. I mean, holy crap, that is a role of a lifetime to land in a Russo brothers picture with co-starring Tom Holland as your love interest.
Wait, what's her name?
Sierra Bravo.
I was looking at Kelly Berglund. Sierra Bravo. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like
She's
I was
actually
saying,
still been she's been doing stuff.
oh, good for her.
But yeah, I was pretty I was actually kind of like looking forward to it, but like I don't know if if it's like on still on demand, right? Like maybe it'll be PVOD on like Amazon, maybe. Or do you think
Mhm.
it's like it'll stick to Apple? I'm assuming probably because they bought it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that kind of sucks. I was hoping maybe like Amazon would take it or something. Or I'm assuming it would. I'm assuming it was supposed to get theatrical. Maybe not, but
Yeah.
didn't the other?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be Apple TV Plus. I was seeing if maybe it had like a Apple Movies deal or something, because then maybe it
Mhm.
would be more of a production thing. So maybe you
Yeah,
could get that. Oh, Danielle said, Danielle called out, yeah, that Sierra Bravo was from Big Time Rush. And then she said, I don't get the Tom Holland hype. Did she watch Devil All the Time with you?
we both watched it.
Oh, interesting. So,
Yeah.
all right. Interesting. So
He
she
was he
maybe.
was good in it. It was I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I heard that. Well, I mean, hey, we'll say this. I reached out to TJ and I said, "Do you want to do the review of Devil All the Time?" Um, and he said, let's do something else." And that's why we're
it's
not
just
reviewing it. So I
literally
trust his judgment.
one of the categories on Netflix says
Mhm.
slow burn, and it is definitely, in my opinion, it was slow.
Real slow, too slow.
Not too. It was just like it was just slow for me.
Hmm.
I don't know, but I thought he was good in it. But I feel like I said, I feel like that's the first time. I mean, obviously he's got things coming up like Uncharted, Chaos Walking, and then he's got Cherry. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming he's going to have all these other movies that are going to show what he can do outside of
as well
just
as like
Spider-Man.
18,000 Spider-Man projects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Real quick. Okay. Do you think Tom Holland is in Morbius?
Oh my God, I forgot that was in a movie. Jesus.
I messaged
Um,
TJ last night. I just said I forgot that Venom 2 existed. That's
yeah.
like a movie that's been shot.
Morbius. I think no. I think he'll first show up in Venom 2.
Yeah, same. I think your connection to the MCU is
I think he
slow
got
at
Michael
first.
Keaton.
Exactly.
And
You get
then,
Michael Keaton to kind of put the toe in the water, and then you get the
Yeah.
big guy in Venom 2. Because right now Venom 2 is the proven quantity. You know what I mean? That's the thing that the first one was super successful. So yeah, I don't think we'll be getting Holland in Morbius, but I think we
Yeah.
will get him in Let There Be Carnage.
Oh my God.
Can't
What a ridiculous name.
can't wait. All right. Okay. So
Why don't they
next,
just call it Maximum Carnage? Or Carnage or something.
or just Carnage, just Venom 2 Carnage. I don't know.
It's not actually called that though, right? It's called Venom 2.
No, it's called Venom 2 : Let There Be Carnage.
I thought he just said that at the end of the movie. It's actually called
No. Yes. Yes.
that. Oh boy. Yeah, rethink
Uh,
that title.
Yeah. Oh, yikes. Okay.
That's funny.
Was there like a hang on? Well, I'm like losing it right now. Was there a Venom 2 trailer that came out?
No. What?
Hang on here.
I feel like that movie is like should be finished though, shouldn't it? Didn't it go to production like way before COVID?
Hang on.
It's definitely not a trailer.
Oh, there was like there was the title reveal. That's what there was.
Yay.
It was like the release
Venom
date
2,
reveal.
Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, look at this right here. Here, let me move it over onto the screen so that people can see. Oh. There it is. Look at that. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And I love how the font on the logo is the font that he was like scraping it into the wall in the end of the last movie.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yikes.
I remember. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so anyways, we are gonna go ahead with the next story here, which, as you can see, is on screen right now, which is Yara Shahidi, who obviously was the main character, or one of the main characters on the hit ABC show. And I do say hit because, I mean, it's got like 4 spin-offs. The hit ABC comedy Blackish, who she then had her own spin-off on the Freeform network called Youngish, right? Yeah. And then there's also Mixedish and Oldish, which is going to be
Wait, those are things? What?
Yes, mixed it. Okay, so I have only seen maybe 5 episodes of Blackish, but I just know all this from keeping track of the news. So the daughter, who is her, got a spin-off show of her own, just set at the same time as Blackish, called Youngish, which it was on
Okay.
Freeform. Then there was Mixed-ish, which is about Tracy Ellis Ross as a kid, who is the wife
Okay.
on Blackish. And now there's
Yeah.
going to be Old-ish, which is going to be a spinoff with Lawrence Fishburne's character, who plays the grandpa on that show. So there's like 4 spinoffs to this fucking
Wow.
show.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it speaks to the popularity. I mean, it's a very highly rated show. I mean, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny, the stuff I've seen. And she's good in it. She's really funny. So again, the story here is that she is set to play Tinkerbell in the new Disney live action Peter Pan
Mhm.
film. Now, this is a role that has been super, super all over the place with casting rumors. Which originally there was talk of Margot Robbie was going to be in the role. There was talk of I think like a whole bunch of different people. I can't. Oh, I think Cara Delevingne was gonna originally be it, which is like a huge bullet dodged. And then
Yeah, I think it
uh,
makes sense more for it to be somebody like she is. How old is she? 20, I think it was.
I don't know.
But I feel like she looks younger
Mhm.
than she is.
Y-
So I feel like that makes more sense for it to be somebody younger.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
and this is something that we have seen from the very beginning, that this movie is really, really setting itself up to try and be as different from any of the other ones as possible. They went
Mhm.
with a New Zealand native to play Peter. So they went with a young Kiwi actor to play the titular role of Peter Pan. You got Jude Law as Captain Hook, which is pretty traditional casting, but I think Jude Law is going to knock it out of the freaking park. That is amazing
Yeah.
casting. Originally they were even trying to go for Joaquin Phoenix for Captain Hook, which was a pipe dream, but that would have been
Wow.
crazy. That would be a
that'd be
very
something.
interesting movie. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this movie to me, I think it's just shaping up really, really well, and it's shaping up to be really interesting. Now, what I
Mhm.
want from this film is I want to start hearing about story. Tell me what you're gonna do different story, because it's great if you're making this big, diverse cast. Because you'd have to imagine then really the rest of the people they have to cast is just like the Lost Boys. You know what I mean? Like where
Yeah.
those they're always diverse and
Yeah.
always have that.
Yeah,
So
it's really not that. It's now that I think about it, it's really not that many. Like, it's not. It shouldn't be that big of a cast. Like, it's really like you got the pirates,
yeah,
you got the Lost Boys, and you got Wendy and the 2 brothers, and
yeah. Like right now, like the
you
only
know,
people left to cast would be what's his name, Smee,
it's
right?
me. I want to know
Yeah,
who Smee
Hooks.
is.
Yeah, Hooks. Mate on the ship. We
Mhm.
need him, and then we just need the Lost Boys, really. So that's pretty much all that they have to. They got the big roles down so far. Um, but like I said, I mean, this is going to be. I hope this is going to be a pretty cool movie, and like I said, I want story out of it next. I want a
Yeah.
synopsis. I want more than a synopsis. I want to know what this is going to be different to Hook, to Peter Pan, to other Peter Pan, to regular Peter Pan, to animated Peter Pan. This would be like literally the 10th Peter Pan movie that we've gotten. Tell me how it's going to be different. And don't let it be different like Pan was different, because that movie was atrocious. But yeah, I think this is great news. What are your thoughts just on the casting, and what are you looking forward to the movie? Or are you not looking forward?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't even like think. I don't think I even like realized it was like a thing until I saw this announcement today. And
Mhm.
again, this is like another look at Disney trying to get more diverse with their castings.
Yeah.
Because Tinkerbell is a white blonde in the animated movie, and um, it's just, which I like. It's who says that any of these characters have to be a certain skin color?
Oh,
It's just,
exactly. Yeah.
and the people that just are like, well, no, like, or what was the one? Was it the Little Mermaid that people had to complain about, or was it something
Yeah,
else?
because they did the same thing. Who, by the way, her name is escaping me. Haley something. Another young African American actress from Blackish. She was also in Blackish. So it's very, very interesting there. But I'm really, really looking forward
Mhm.
to this movie. I have high hopes. I'd say I have medium hopes
Hallie
for this movie.
Halle Bailey
Yes,
is her
that's who
name.
it is. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see how that comes out. I think it's gonna be pretty good. But yeah, yeah. All right. So great news overall. Now the last news story here is another comic book news. which we will pull up right now. And as you can see right here, that is that we've talked about on this show as well as Planet Hero. That the Black Adam movie, after years and years of production, is finally taking shape, and that we are going to be getting the Justice Society of America. Now, originally they had rumored Alexander Skarsgård to be playing Hawkman, but we now have
Mm.
officially confirmed by The Rock himself, actually, and by Aldous Hodge, that Aldous Hodge, star of, he was in Black Mirror, a couple other things, but mainly this past year, big, huge breakout role in Invisible Man. He was fantastic in that
Oh
film.
yeah, duh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so definitely I would say this is coming off the back of his role in Invisible Man.
Hmm.
He nails the role of Hawkman, and once again, we are talking again a role that is traditionally a white blonde male, or just a white male in general, um, being played by a very very talented African American actor. And I
Hmm.
think it's just a great move by Warner Brothers. I think it's a great move. I'd have to imagine that The Rock had some influence
Input.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is definitely in a producing role on this film. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts on this? On Aldous Hodge getting the role of Hawkman, which The Rock himself has said is going to be a major portion of this film. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm excited to see what happens with him in this movie because I honestly don't know much about the character. I remember seeing him in an animated just well, sorry, when we used to go to my grandma's house when we were younger, she would have these. She had like one or two of these animated Justice League movies for some reason. I remember seeing him in those as an animated character, and that's
Hmm.
probably the only knowledge I have of Hawkman in at all.
Yeah.
Is he? He's not like an anti. He's not like an anti-hero, right? He's part of like the Justice League. Like,
Yeah, yeah, he's a full on
okay,
hero.
so
He's
okay,
he is one that has been around, and can I just say also a character who is typically a white male that would make much more sense to be a person of color because he is supposed to be from Egypt and is
oh,
like 3,000 years old.
oh,
So
okay,
it would make a lot more sense that
yeah.
he doesn't look like Army Hammer. But yeah, so he has done some shady stuff. Like, if for anybody, he was a huge part of the first season of Legends of Tomorrow. Him and Hawkgirl were both on that show for the
Mm.
first season. Um, but so he's done some like shady stuff in the past, but if he is a member of the Society in this movie, I got to imagine they're going just straight true, just good guy Hawkman.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, very very interesting. It's a very interesting character from the comics, who is going to be a very interesting addition to finally get him on the big screen. Obviously, like I just said, we have gotten him in live action before,
Hmm.
with Legends of Tomorrow. He's one that he might have popped up on an episode of Smallville. I'm not really sure. I never watched that. But yeah, I'm really stoked for this casting and just stoked for the movie in general.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So I think we are good with the new news segment here. So let's go ahead. Just going to hit a quick break, and then we will be right back with our review of The Social Dilemma. And then we will call it a night for you guys. We're definitely moving a little bit ahead of schedule here. So we're definitely making good on time for y'all. So we will be right back. welcome back, and we are yawning already. Let's go ahead and get into our review for the Social Dilemma, which, for those who do not know, was a recent documentary on Netflix, all about the qualms and the, I would say, misgivings and kind of effect of social media on really society and kind of the whole world. Well, we'll get into it in the review, but it's a documentary in a very different style than you would
Yeah.
see normally. So for that reason, we do actually have some IMDb information that TJ is going to read off. So he'll give a little
Yeah.
bit of an information, and even though it is a documentary, there is actually a cast. So why don't you go ahead and launch into that? And again, we will explain further once we get deeper into the review.
Yeah, so Social Dilemma came out this year on September 9th on Netflix. And description on IMDb is explores the dangerous human impact of social networking with tech experts sounding the alarm on their own creations. Directed by Jeff Orlowski, written by Davis Kumbe, Vicky Curtis, and David Kumbe. Did I say that?
Mhm.
Or Jeff? Yeah. Sorry, Jeff Orlowski, David Kumbe, and Vicky Curtis. So then they interview all these different tech, former tech employees of all these big conglomerates: Google, Apple, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
I'd say the main guy is probably Tristan Harris. He's a former design ethicist at Google, and he's co-founder of Center for Humane Society. And then for some of the dramatizations, they have like a cast. Vic Alejandro plays a police officer. Skylar Gazondo. He's like kind of the biggest, I feel like, name probably.
Yeah, he's
I've seen him in Ma.
Ma
He's in
or
Ma.
Booksmart. He was also in Booksmart.
Yeah.
But
right, Booksmart.
Yeah, but he's the main character of the documentary, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, so basically what the way it's kind of done is it is a documentary. Most of it is documentary, but kind of some of it is scripted stuff. Some of it is just kind of silent acted stuff with people from the documentary just talking over the footage.
Yeah.
But like he said, I even hesitate to call them dramatizations, but I mean that's what they are. But
yeah, that's just the first word that came to
But it's
my
just
mind.
like it's almost like these little like vignettes of this family's life, and then you kind of leave the family after like maybe the first half, and then you're really focusing on the teenage son of the family, and his grappling with his use of his phone, his use of social medias, and then which we will get into it kind of, without taking a side in politics, the documentary does show how something like being recommended a 5-minute crafts or a tasty recipe video on Facebook can, in the real world, very quickly turn to being recommended things about politics and how that can snowball. And again, the movie goes as far as to not pick a political side, that their fake political party is called the Extreme Center. Which is like, which is like, I was like, that is how you not pick a side in politics. Just literally make a fake party called Extreme Center. But all right, so let's go ahead. It's not really spoiler or non-spoiler. We're just gonna kind of talk about like in the notes here. I just kind of we're gonna kind of review the documentary style, and then we're gonna kind of just review the documentary as a whole, and then give our star rating at the end. So again, this is gonna be a real short show because there's not really much to say. But there is some stuff. So why don't you go ahead and what did you think of the overall style of the documentary?
The style that was probably the only thing I was not fond of. I remember watching it while we were watching it. I think there's this one part where they're all in the kitchen, they're having dinner together, and the mom puts their phones in this kind of like safety, like lock box. So
from
she
Shark
puts
Tank.
the top on it and she times it. she times it for what, an hour or whatever. So all
Yeah.
their phones are locked in, and the daughter,
Oh yeah.
she can't go without her phone for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sitting at the table, they're talking, and the daughter's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna get some water or something."
Mm-hmm.
And she like starts taking this box and starts banging it against the counter.
Yeah.
She can't get it open. The mom's like, "It's not gonna open." And all of a sudden, she like takes this hammer or something and smashes it
And
open.
this is just, you
And
see
she
this
has
in the
goggles on.
background. Like, you see this in the background of the, like, you're paying attention to the foreground at the dinner table, and then all of a sudden you see in the back the daughter's back with safety goggles and a sledgehammer, and breaks it open. And then
at that point, I think me and Danielle looked at each other and we were like, "Okay, let's draw it back a little bit here, because we're getting a little out
let's
of out
calm
of
let's
our
calm
realm
it down
here."
a little.
Yeah, because like, listen, in real life, if that's happening, I think you have a bigger problem.
That's what I said. That's what I said to my roommate while because I watched this with my roommate. I was like, if I ever had a daughter and she did that, I would. Are you what? First of all, that thing's like $24.95. Give me my $25 back. Second of all, okay, so a little bit of context for the story. When she breaks it with the sledgehammer, her phone is completely fine somehow, but her brother's phone, the main character's, his screen is completely like busted up. Like, he can still use it, but like his screen's all busted. What is the mom saying? Well, son, if you can go a week without your phone, I'll buy you a new screen. How about your sister buys you a new screen? What? Like, she just bashed your phone in with a sledgehammer, and he like doesn't say anything to the sister. Like, I just, oh my God, that was like, I actually didn't mind the dramatizations as much, but that was just like, that just bugged me, because I was like, what is wrong with this girl? Why is she not getting repercussions? I was like, oh my God, it was crazy.
And I think I say that was a problem I had with it. The rest of it was really good. I thought the information, the people they had, I mean, they had all these people, former employees of Google, Twitter, like I said, Facebook, who had, basically created these tools, and I think they say it at one point is like, never did they think when they were making these tools for these, websites, stuff like that, or applications, that they were ever going to be used in this way, or used it like this. And I think it also, as soon as I think the documentary was over, me and Danielle both went on our phones and looked at our screen time for all these apps.
Oh,
and I think, and it was really weird. I mean, like, maybe my Twitter usage wasn't that high, but like, or maybe no, that was actually probably one of the highest. Like, Facebook was probably on the lower end.
Yeah,
but like Twitter was probably all the
for
way
me,
up there
Facebook is way. I'll almost every week, I'm like, do I really need the Facebook app? Like, I can't live without Messenger, because that's my primary like communications tool. But like, Messenger ain't the problem, folks. Like, Facebook is the problem. But it's like, I'm like, but I can't, I don't want to go without my recipe videos and my, and my, you know what I mean? My 5-minute crafts and stuff. So I'm like, there's just that draw there. And that's what this movie covers, is that even though you might think like mind over matter, willpower, I don't need it. At the end of the day, you end up, I mean, you have the guy, TJ had talked about him. I forget who it was, but it was the guy who had worked at Facebook, then at Google. He's
Tristan Harris, the Google guy?
No. It was the other guy that was like the main he was the monetization guy at Facebook. That's who it was. The guy that like had his dog that was like in his like at the foot of his bed for the interviews.
Was this the guy? Sorry, they also had the guy on who was like, basically, I brought ads to this website.
Yes, Facebook. He was the monetization. He was chief of monetization at Facebook. He even said, and then that's what it was. And then he went and worked at Pinterest. That's what it was. Yeah. Because he said, so this is the monetization guy at Facebook who then went to run Pinterest. But he has this great thing where he was like, I literally worked all day at Pinterest, and then I would come home and I would find myself scrolling through Pinterest like all night. And he was like, I'm literally one of the people that is like, how can we design this to get the most amount of people on it? And I fall trap to it. And then there was also a guy who was like, you know, I come home and I'm like, I'm not going to bring the phone into bed. I'm not going to bring the phone into the bedroom.
Yep.
And then he was like, but 9 p.m. rolls around and somehow I have my phone in my bed and I'm watching Facebook. Like, it's like, it's crazy because like, it's these guys, and I do not want to, what do I want to call it? I don't want to sympathize isn't the right word. I don't want to act like these guys haven't been part of the problem. This documentary almost highlights the fact that they were the problem, that they are the problem. The people in the documentary are the ones who did all this. Now, granted, everybody in the documentary, they're all former president. They've all left the industry. You know, after
I'm sure
they've made their millions.
If you went up to Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and said, "I want to do this documentary on how social media is hurting the world," I'm sure that would not be allowed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're all happily retired millionaires at the age of 27 that are in this documentary. But yeah, in terms of the documentary style, I don't know. It's kind of hard to really nail down a flow of the review because it's just kind of a free flowing kind of thing. But if we're breaking it down just with documentary style, I didn't mind it. I found the dramatizations less annoying than some other dramatizations in other documentaries, because I liked that there was a kind of lead, that there was like kind of a story. I liked that a lot. So I guess now we can give our star rating, and then we can just kind of break down anything else that we want to talk about that we haven't talked about yet. So what would you give this for the star rating for Letterboxd?
I gave it a 4.
A 4 out of 5? Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably give it. Now I know that Letterboxd doesn't have anything but half stars, but I'd give it a 3.75. I'd give it a 3.75. I liked it a lot, but it just didn't get all the way there for me, I guess. I don't know. But I did like it a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because when I told Danielle that I wanted to watch it, and she was like, "Oh, well, it's a movie." I was like, "No, it's like a documentary." And she goes, "No, it's like a movie, but like." I was like, "What do you?" I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's like both at the same time. Basically, it's both at the same time.
How about he's credited here, Jaron Lanier. He's credited as the founding father of virtual reality. That guy, he was off the chain. The dreads guy.
Yeah, he was nuts. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think. So for me, I don't really have much more that I want. Honestly, I don't really have much more that I need to cover on it, just because it's just kind of something that I would say, you know, what we always try to do is, do we recommend you watch this? Yeah, I recommend that you watch this. I almost don't even want to speak too much to it, just because I think it's something that you kind of have to experience for yourself and kind of come away with it with your own, with your own kind of outlook on life. Like, as I said, I watched this with my roommate, and she is very much someone who cannot separate herself from her phone for very long. And so we both tried to keep our phones completely away for the watching of this.
Yeah.
I broke once. I looked at it once so that I could Google something just about the movie. But that's still using it. And then she broke, I think, like 3 or 4 times. But it's tricky. And then I was like, do I really want to? And then again, I kind of flirted with the idea of removing the Facebook app, like the main Facebook app, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know why. I just couldn't do it at the end of the day. I just couldn't. But
I would love to, at the end of I wish, like, at the end of your lifetime, you get a little counter that'd be like, how long you stared at, a phone screen. I wonder like what those numbers would probably be, like, ridiculously off the charts.
Yeah. Well, that's what like people think, is they're like when you die, maybe one of the things you get is you get this great big book of your statistics. You know what I mean? Where it's just like anything, like you could just flip to any page and you're like, how long did I scroll Twitter for my life? And you're like, oh, that's weird.
God, I don't even want to see that.
400 days of scrolling Twitter.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too. It's like, not that like well, okay, you could say that, but they touch on the whole like kind of news aspect where it's almost like
Yes,
they
absolutely.
portray it in the way as like, okay, you're pro gun or you're, pro choice,
Hmm.
you're not going to see things that are pro life. You're going to keep
Yes,
seeing the things that
the
feed your
the
ideas.
the view isolation, where it's like
Yeah.
if you watch Fox News, you
Mhm.
are only going to get recommended Fox News stuff. And then
Yeah.
you're only going to get recommended things that people that watch Fox News watch.
Fox News watch.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you get further and further into it, and
Yeah.
then like it
Like
just like it pulls you in.
yeah, like if you're watching Tucker Carlson, like you're probably not going to get an ad for
Wolf
last week's
Blitzer.
night with
Yeah,
John
yeah,
Oliver.
or John Oliver. Yeah, that's probably
Yeah,
gonna. You'll get Bill Maher. You'll
yeah,
get Bill. Which,
yeah.
by the way, if we want to
Which
throw that up, Bill Maher got renewed for 2 more seasons. So,
oh nice,
oh
wow.
boy.
Um, it's very scary. Isn't that crazy though? Where it's like
Hmm.
people
Oh yeah.
are, and I think they touch on it where it's
Oh
like
yeah.
people are yelling about this one side, and and you're driving by, it's I think like you said, what's the political party again in it?
Yeah.
What are they
Extreme
called?
center.
Yeah, so they're protesting and, his sister's driving by
Hmm.
and they're talking. This is the voiceover part where they're like, you're thinking to yourself in the car, like, what are these idiots doing? But they say it's like, well, they're not seeing your side.
Hmm.
They're seeing on the internet only things that go and reinforce their ideals. They're not going
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
see, something that what you see. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing with you is you see the things that it reinforce you and your ideas and what you view on
Like,
the world, but not what these other people think.
imagine this. Like, and they get into this movie.
Hmm.
Honestly, it has maybe I would say 3 or 4 minutes dedicated to the f- the flat Earth Society and like the 5G stuff, and it does
Oh
touch
yeah,
on
yeah.
COVID a little bit. You can tell that stuff was edited in more recently.
Hmm.
I mean, you can't really tell, but just with the timing, that probably wasn't
Yeah.
originally intended to be in there, but now it is. Um, but like, if somebody told you, if you clicked a link from like a Screen Rant or something that said, does Dwayne the Rock Johnson really have hair or is he just bald? And then you clicked another link a week later that
Yeah.
said, what is the Rock hiding? And then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
like you
yeah,
just
yeah,
you
yeah.
just keep going down, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're at Dwayne Johnson's house about to
Yeah.
confront him. You know what I mean? It's like no one else is getting that exact experience on
Mhm.
Facebook. But
Which
if that is what your algorithm,
yeah.
if that's what the AI is determining for you, that it's realizing that you are interested in the fact that maybe Dwayne Johnson isn't the person he says he is. I don't know why this is my
Yeah.
example, but
Which
that's basically the
I
idea.
I think people, everybody that uses social media in some way, shape, or form or the internet, everybody has a slight inkling to the fact that, uh, you click on something, you're going to get recommended something else that has to do with that other thing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's also weird to hear the people that worked there, and worked
Explain it in
on these
such detail.
algorithms and explain it and tell you be like it's actually way bigger than you think it is. Like it's not like this is like everybody. It's not just like oh you, and it almost feeds into the whole like they don't touch on this at all or anything, but it's the same thing where um you know you people say oh I was just talking about paper towels and I just got an ad for paper towels 2 seconds
Hmm.
later where it's
Yeah.
where it's people think your phone's, which honestly let's be honest it probably is, your
Oh,
phone is
absolutely.
listening to you, but it's
Absolutely.
also you like oh I'm gonna go let me Google paper towels, and then an hour later app completely like you're
Yeah,
not
you
even
get
thinking
you
about
get
it
an
anymore.
Instagram ad for
Yeah,
Bounty.
exactly,
Yeah.
where it's just like all this information, and I think they even touch on it too, where it's like they know like everything about you. Let's be honest, like they have everything on you at this point.
Hmm.
And they also do that whole like I don't even know how to explain it. It's it's the kid and he's on his phone, and basically it's three tech guys in like uh
Oh yeah, the scenes where
just
they're
like
kind of
a
playing his phone, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like three tech guys, and they're like sitting around a computer, and they're like, all right, we got him with this ad, so let's send another ad this way. And they send it
Mhm.
out, and it pops up, and he clicks on that, and they go, oh, we got him. He goes, let's send him this too. And then, and it shows his face. His face is just glued to the screen, and literally, as it goes on, they're building him.
They're
Like
building
in that,
basically
like
his AI model. Like,
his
think
AI,
about
yeah,
if you've ever seen the game Super Hot, like it's like this, like it starts out this just white, like poly figure of kind
yeah,
of a person, basically. And then by the end of it, it gets the actual model that like TJ's saying,
mhm.
it's literally going
Yeah, it's really creepy too.
the whole movie. It is really creepy.
Where
But
it's like
it
it's basically
starts as
like the
that
puppet
thing.
master to you.
Exactly. It starts as that like weird, like polymorph like figure, and then
Mhm.
slowly it looks more and more like him to the point where it's just the actor at the end going like this, like looking at the
Yeah.
different apps and stuff. It's like it's so weird, but it's kind of cool, and it really gets the message across. It really does get the
No,
message
yeah.
across.
I mean, I
Um,
definitely came out of it like self-conscious, but it probably
mhm.
lasts like an hour. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'd forgot about it.
Mhm.
you know.
But yeah, what's it called? So yeah, I mean, I think for that, I mean, unless there is, do you have anything else you want to touch on that we haven't
No, that's
touched
kind
on?
of all I wanted to touch on, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, it
same,
definitely, I
same
would
here.
definitely recommend watching it.
I would absolutely recommend. I think it's something that you have to watch for yourself, and you have to make your own opinion on it because it affects every. Obviously, what the movie's about is saying it affects everybody differently.
Hmm.
Literally, every single person has a totally different algorithm that affects them differently. So like you look at what I was saying about like my roommate, like she clearly her phone knows that she looks at it more than I do. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
so that just makes her look at it more. And it knows that I don't grab it that much. So it like it's maybe my phone is working harder to get my
Yeah.
attention, but I'm not giving it to it. You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
there's some also things like where they show where I think it's there's notifications like you just would not get. Like where
Oh,
it's
it
like,
said like
oh,
your
your
ex is
ex-girlfriend is
ran.
dating your friend. And
Yeah,
it's like, well, that's not a thing that would ever happen. Like that just
yeah,
wouldn't come up,
yeah.
but I you get like the point they're trying to make, obviously.
And also, there's a point where he goes downstairs to the fridge, and they're like, "All right, we got to get him back in." And they send a
Yeah.
notification, but the phone was supposed to be off. So it's like, I don't. How did that work? But it's
Oh,
whatever.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, because the mom turned it off when she put it. But
Right.
it's whatever.
Yeah. That's
Um,
funny.
but yeah, I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, like we said, I mean, it's just we're going for a shorter show here. We're trying to wrap up before 9 o'clock. I think we definitely achieved that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. We just want to throw in right at the end here because it did break just a little bit before we went on that Moonlight director Barry Jenkins is helming a live action Lion King 2 at Walt Disney Pictures. Um, what are your thoughts on this? I'll just say my thoughts. I think this is a terrible idea. I think the first movie was atrocious and gave me nightmares for a very long time.
Nightmares. Oh my god.
Well, the character models.
Oh.
So, what are your thoughts on just this news, and then we'll wrap up.
I've never seen the remake, and I've also never seen the sequel Lion Kings either. So honestly, I
Well,
have no
in
idea.
part of the
Like,
report, it did say it's not going to be based on Simba's Pride. It's going to be a new Lion
oh,
King
it's
2.
not.
No, yeah, it's going to be a new Lion King 2.
What?
I don't know.
Why?
Well, to me,
It did make a
honestly,
lot of money.
well,
It
to
made like
me,
$1 billion, didn't it?
putting it in an original sequel makes more sense
Yeah.
than what the first movie did, which literally was a shot-for-shot remake
Mhm.
of the animated one. At
Yeah.
least give me a new story. At least
Yeah.
give me that because the first
Yeah.
movie was so unnecessary. It was ridiculous. Um but yeah, so that's happening. So we have that to look forward to, I guess. But yeah, with that, I think we're good to go ahead and close out for the week. So yeah, I'll just say again, my name is Sean Monk.
And I'm TJ Cornwell.
And this has been the Planet Film Podcast. Always remember to be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.